Hi everyone, welcome to the family table. My name is Cathy and I am so excited to let you know we are going into season 3. Believe it or not, it's been 3 years since we started doing the family table. What we're going to do this year to kind of liven things up, we're going to go around the world. We're going to have different recipes from different nationalities and other cultures and different things to kind of like spice up your life. It's been 3 years. We're going to do something different and we're going to go on board now that we're moving forward. So let me start season 3. Okay, welcome everybody to the family table. Today I have a special guest. This is Gloria Cabral. She is the head of culinary programming at Bristol Community College, and we're going to do some Portuguese breads for you, which is always very yummy. So this is our Portuguese kind of section here, and we're going to start. Gloria?
Hi. So when we talk Portuguese bread, it depends on where you are in Portugal, the Azores, the islands, different areas, we have different ones. And this one's called Folar, F-O-L-A-R. And the way my grandmother made it and my mother made it, we would do this. It's a typical Easter bread, but we use it all year round. And it's done with different types of meats because in Portugal, one of their things is they had pigs. They raised their pigs and they would do it different ways. So we're going to start with the bread dough. Well, we have a recipe, and Cathy has the recipe. It's very simple. All you wet first. I put my water, my egg. My sugar is wet. It's considered a wet food because when I heat it up, it melts. So it's not a dry ingredient. Then I throw in instant yeast. Nice and easy. Shortening again is a wet thing. If I'm using instant yeast, I can just throw that into my bread dough. Not a big deal. I don't have to proof it or anything else, and that's why we use it a lot. I have instant dry milk.
Yeah, we discussed the instant yeast last time because by accident I bought the dry yeast, and it was like, oh, I wonder what was going on. Pay attention when you're in the store.
That's it. It's really, really simple, but there's a difference. You don't use the same amount. You always use a little bit less of instant yeast. And my flour. So in school we call that the straight dough method. All your wets, all your dry. Put that over there. Put it in the machine. This recipe that we have is small enough that you can do at home in your machine. Put a dough hook, because dough is for dough. You have paddle for cookies and creaming, and whipping for your anything light. What I do is I first put it together till it starts to come to a ball on first speed, and then after that I will move it to second speed.
Now that takes about 10 minutes.
That's going to take about 10 minutes. So we may just stop that for now because we are already ahead of the game. So
I like that.
Yeah. So this is, anything wrapped in bread is delicious. Cheese and beef and ham and anything you want. So what we did in this one here is we created 3 different types of meat. This is linguiça, which is a little bit smaller, thinner. The size of the meat is smaller, and this is a hot chorizo. I mean, we like hot. We like to mix it in there. The chorizo is a little bit different tasting, but bigger chunks of fat. So I have them all cut up for this. This is a typical ham you can buy in a store. Anybody has a store. And this is what they call vinagre. And I think that means in Portuguese, because I do not speak Portuguese.
Neither do I, only the bad words.
And all it is pork butt that's been marinated in orange juice and garlic. And I'm going to show you how easy it is. I just put a regular sirloin piece here for now. And I cut them in a little bit bigger pieces because they need to be marinated at least overnight. I tend to leave them 2 or 3 days in the thing. Wash my hands.
Okay. Right with it. I don't know, everything just looks so good already. And it's not even in the bread yet.
People say, well, how much of something do you use? I don't know. I sprinkle garlic on top of it. I don't put salt because salt will pull out the liquid. And I add orange juice. Doesn't matter which kind. Nope.
But it's got to be covered, or
that? Yeah, more or less covered. A lot of times if I'm storing it, I store it in a Ziploc bag because there's less space. Yep. Throw it in the fridge. Deal with it later. If I'm doing a lot, like I know we're gonna have family coming, I will put them in bags and I'll store them in the freezer. Ooh. So this way I can just take them out as I need it. So once that's marinated, we'll put that aside. Once that's all marinated, have a sink.
Okay.
Leave that.
We're just moving on.
We just
now.
will fill up the sink.
Yeah.
No. I'll cook it now. I can cook it on. My grandmother used to fry it in bacon fat, like everything was fried.
Yeah,
Eggs in the
bacon
morning,
fat,
bacon
yep.
fat. But it always had a bitter flavor to me. So what I tell people is just put it in a saucepan and cook it till it's stewed, till you get it to the right temperature. I use something called sous vide, which is in a bag, and I cook it at a certain temperature in water so it doesn't overcook. So I'll create that there, and I put it nice and easy. Let's see how our bread is rising here.
And we have some right here.
All right.
Oh, look at that.
So we'll just let this for later so we don't have to deal with the noise.
Okay. So look, just so we can make sure you guys see this.
This is doubled in size. When we see that later, it's a smaller ball, but we wanted to double it in size. We need your knife again to cut it out.
Okay. Let me just rinse that off.
If you ever smell bread, smell yeast, smell it growing, it is like one of the most soothing flavors. When it's baking, it's just a happy item. Have a nice table. We're not worried about this. Makes 2 loaves. I can
Just cut it in half, right?
cut it in half. Yep. So I'm going to have Cathy make one of the loaves, and I'm going to show you other things you can make with the other loaf.
Okay.
So Cathy's going to roll it out.
You want? Oh, okay.
You got the rolling pin.
I do. I have the
You have a
rolling pin.
and you can choose different sizes of your pans. So I just use, and I save them. If you know anything about Portuguese or Spanish or anybody who's ever had to struggle in life, you never throw anything away. So we
Never
don't
throw
use
anything.
fancy things. We use what you have, which is available.
My kids say I'm a hoarder.
I'm a hoarder, but I am very frugal, I call it.
Yeah.
And because when you don't have,
I'm a neat hoarder. I know where my stuff is.
and what we want to do is create it so it's going to fit within inside here. We're going to stuff it, and it's going to be, you can, again, like I said, you can use cheese, you can use whatever you want to do this. A lot of times I'll make little sandwiches and freeze them, so when company comes over I can pull them over.
There we go.
Perfect. So Cathy, what I want you to do is put layers, just a layer of your chorizo, it doesn't matter, right across, maybe 2.
Does it matter what I do?
No.
How many I put?
No, just I do like a row across all the way to the end, because you always want to make
How's
sure.
that?
Let's get a little, because you know, if you're this person getting this piece here,
Oh my goodness, that's right.
You know that.
You know what I did? My family always gives me the ends of everything.
Yep, so that's
the
why.
loaf of bread, I get the end. I don't know.
Yep, that's in certain things it's okay, but not everything.
Right, but you know, if you're Portuguese, you don't throw away the ends of the bread.
That's right.
There we go. Okay.
So now that's going to be the one layer roll. So when that proofs, we'll have another layer in between. Now the meats she's putting in here are room temperature, or you can throw them in the microwave. So maybe a nice strip or 2 of ham.
Ham. Ooh,
That one's a nice big one.
look at that! Right.
Perfect, perfect.
So should I put like one more right here?
No,
No.
let's put the smaller one in the middle.
Okay.
This way, because if it's too much,
It's
it's
like
not
an
going to cook
art.
evenly.
It's like an art project.
Yeah, you build that and then roll that over so it's nice and.
Oh
And then the
my
last one
goodness.
you'll put a layer, but leave about a strip so you
we
can
can
tuck it in
under. Okay.
of the pork. And the pork has a nice, delicious flavor, not overcooked.
Look at that. It's perfect. It's perfect.
There we go. And then tuck it all in, and we always seal the bottom.
Just give it a little tuck there.
And I always put the seam at the bottom, so in case it decides to open up, it won't open up.
It has no choice.
There you go.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
So now we want this to actually dome up almost double. Remember? Yeah, we'll lay a plastic wrap on that. But if it gets almost double, because it's not all bread dough, there's meat inside, it'll get a nice little dome to it, fill up. There we go.
Okay, look at that.
Yeah, put it in here to get nice and warm. Perfect. So with extra pieces, you can just take, I can make smaller ones. I'm going to cut this up.
Oh,
At school, we have a little machine, and actually I'll just put it in there. It will cut 36 pieces for me. But usually it depends on how, and I'll have a scale in front of me, because I'm always trying to figure out how much to weigh. I like to use like 1 ounce of bread to give me a nice soft roll. 1 ounce is equal to 1 slice, which 2 slices are what you would have for a meal.
Okay.
So, but this one's going to be a little bit bigger. And so I just stretch it out just a little bit.
Yeah, I like using a scale. So I do have several scales.
Yeah, we have them. The students use them And baking scales are much more precise. It's much easier to work with because you can just bang things out without thinking. If somebody uses a cup, they can squish more. It's like tucking in a baby. You know, do you ever have cloth diapers?
Yes.
So I just make sure I have a safety pin.
Yep.
And I'd put them just like that. So we would make a whole bunch of rolls. I can make mini loaves. In fact, let's make a mini loaf.
Okay.
We have a mini loaf pan over there. Over on this thing. Because, you know, once you start making this, your friends that you never had will become your friends. Your neighbors are going to ask, where are you? What are you doing? What's happening?
Yeah.
I know in my house.
What are you making today?
What are you making today? You know, you are my friend. So I make mini ones. And let's make another one here.
I gotta say, my husband was looking at all this stuff and he thought, ooh. No offense to my crew over here, which is a great crew. I have to say, I thank my crew. He said, don't give everything away.
Yeah, he wanted to take the day off today.
Yeah, so.
No, these work out. Every time I make this bread, it's usually most of the time it's Easter, like I said, or when I have visiting family.
Just roll this.
Because they'll ask me. There's some things that people don't want to continue, you know, tradition. I'm all about tradition.
I agree. It's like too much work, they think, so.
But it reminds me of my mother, you know, and my mother came from Cuba. You can follow the same thing.
Okay, I can do that right across from me.
And she had to learn to cook because she came as a socialite. So in Cuba, even the maids had maids. And when she came, they did. When she came here, she went to, you know, she had a big learning curve. So she had to relearn, she had to learn how to even boil an egg. And so that way it worked out, you know, a whole good thing for me. She ended up, she'd make all our Easter eggs. She would make every holiday full of food. We used to have people come over on Thanksgiving just to have the night before, just for stuffing. So my father would make a big panala of just stuffing. And they would come over for sandwiches.
Wow.
See?
I think that's wonderful. I did a Portuguese stuffing for one of my shows.
Oh, with the chorizo?
Yeah.
I know. My mother-in-law makes a good Portuguese stuffing, but this is a traditional, just a plain.
Again, it's like anybody's Portuguese family. They have, like, I say I make the best kale soup. Well, somebody else says they make the best kale soup. But I'll still go with the fact that I make the best kale soup.
Right, and well, it depends. And then what I've learned is, again, where you come from.
Yep.
Some people put chicken broth, some people put carrots and onions. Mine, we put split peas and kidney beans, and it's a little very simple.
Some people put noodles.
Yep.
No, I don't.
Well, the reason why the noodles was, I was told, there's two different reasons. One was people who had money could afford to buy noodles.
Okay.
But on the other hand, I heard the reason they put noodles because it was a way to fill a
Fill it up.
worker, fill you up. So because it would stretch out the soup more and it'd fill you up because you're working. Remember, the Portuguese are very hard workers, and they would be out in different areas, you know, working in the fields and taking care of their crops and whatever else. So you had to give them something to fill them up. We kill soup all year long. It's not because summertime I'll make it. It's just a staple. It's like I say, chorizo and linguiça becomes part of your dowry.
Absolutely. I got a little one. There we go.
So that is as simple as bread dough is to be made, and you can, like I said, you can stuff it with anything else. What we're going to do is just take a minute to clean this up and let this proof a little bit so you can see what we're doing in a little bit.
Okay, we'll be right back. So, we're back. We have our breads proofing. And you know what I didn't tell everybody? Gloria graduated from Fairhaven High School with me. And I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Oh, we can tell them 1978.
That's okay. That's all numbers. Just pay me in dollars. That's all I say.
Okay, so here we go.
So what we said is when we put it to proof. If you don't have a proof box, we're not blessed like Cathy. It's like really cool. You have windows. You have, as long as you cover it, and what we'll show you is
No drafts. Just keep them away from the draft.
A proof box is the bread. It's bed. The bread's bed. It's nice and warm and fluffy, and it wants you to create a nice little, see how it's proofed up nice and soft in here? We cover it. So at home, I just put it on a table or in a warm spot because my mother used to put it, my brother had a waterbed, that's how far that goes back. And she would put all the different types of Portuguese bread, and then she'd put in the waterbed and she'd cover it, and that's how you did it. So There's no reason
Wow.
you can't make bread.
All right, so I'm not sure anybody has water beds anymore, but that is a good idea.
A heated blanket will work if you're
Yep.
making a lot, but nowadays people only make a little bit, so
Yeah.
just on the counter, nice and warm, and it's fine.
Cover it, yep.
So we'll take off our little blankets,
Oh, my blanket. Oh, look at
and
that.
what we do is we're gonna put a little egg wash on these. And it'll keep it nice and moist. Now, there's different ones. We'll talk about this later, a couple different breads. There's called rich dough and lean dough. Lean means skinny. I don't know why, but. And rich means full of things, fats, sugars, things that will make it much. Butter. So this is a little bit of a rich dough because it has shortening, it has an egg in it, and we want it to be soft. If anybody sends a baguette, you have that crunch. That's a lean dough. There's no fat in it. And pops, in Portuguese, the Paposecos.
Yep.
They will be a lean dough. There's very little to no fat in it because you want that nice crunch. You don't have a soft one.
Okay.
So what I usually do after that is I'll give it just a little slice down the middle, just because it's going to expand. If not, it'll rip off the sides. And then we'll throw these in the oven.
Yeah, good?
Yep,
Ooh.
that'll be fine, just to give it a little expansion.
Okay. There we go.
In a little while, we'll be smelling this bread. It's going to be
Oh.
amazing. So for the rolls, we just put them in there and they'll proof up. They'll say, how long does it take for it? Usually it's like almost doubled. You give it the Pillsbury, if you put your finger in it, it kind of stays in.
Oh, like
that means
Poppin'
that's
Fresh.
what Poppin' Fresh, that's why you do. You go,
there we
"Woo!"
go. The
So you
Poppin'
do
Fresh
that.
guy.
If it pops right out, that means it's not relaxed. So you have to, we can put egg wash on these and we'll put
Okay.
these in the oven too. So they stay nice. That's what Poppin' Fresh was for. So we want this, like this is a nice soft roll. You can snip the top of it. I don't because sometimes all that chorizo will pop out.
Okay.
But these will be really, really good. I'll make these, a lot of them, and just put them in the freezer. Kids would come in and pop them in the microwave.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna stay on the top part here. That'll be fine for now.
Okay.
Okay, so now that's gonna cook, again, how long? And my usually comment is till it's done.
Yeah.
Till it's done. So you look at it. First, if you start smelling it, that means you're close to the coloring.
Okay.
Check it. So if it's a bun and it's not that big, maybe 15, 20 minutes at 350. The bread, probably half an hour to 40 minutes, depending on how big it is. If I have a big loaf, you'll see some Portuguese breads that are more rounded. They'll be up to 45 minutes. So
How about opening the oven?
it does, well, when you open an oven, you lose the temperature. It's not going to make the bread fall or anything else.
Okay.
So usually I check at 15 minutes, see how everybody's doing, 15 minutes, then I'll just finish my rolls. And then if I find it's getting too dark on the top, I'll cover it with a piece of parchment. Because what happens sometimes with breads and different things, it looks done on the top, you can stick it in, it looks okay, but in the middle it's not. So when you put parchment on it, it'll start heating the in-between.
Oh, there.
Do you ever have like pumpkin bread or something and it's raw in the middle?
Yep.
And it looks cooked? We'll just cover it and then it'll cook
And
inside.
let it cook inside.
So we'll come back and check in about 15 minutes to see how everything's going, and
Well, you know what? I'm going to put the timer on because I tend to forget. That's part of that age thing, you know.
yeah, I work with students, and I think they're being younger has more of an age issue. They're like, how long? What is 15 minutes? So all you hear is Siri, can you, Siri. So it's like, all right, we have 6 kids in the class. All right, all different alarms.
Oh my
But I
goodness.
said you start creating that internal clock, and that's the hard part of it when
Right.
you're doing. But that'll be good.
With me, it's I just get busy doing something else, and that's what happens.
Cookies is one of my issues because cookies are 8 minutes. You know, you check it out and it's like, oh.
8 minutes go by really quick. All right, so are we going to do something while we're waiting?
Well, what we can do is we'll wait. We'll finish cleaning up, get everything, so we can sit down, have a cup of coffee and some bread because that'll be done shortly.
Oh,
Does that sound good?
that sounds good. We're going to take another break. Okay, so we're back. We have to get a cup of coffee here. So, Portuguese, you have your coffee, and what do? You get some pops. So these are little pops that Gloria made, and when I used to get my pops, I just used to throw a slice of cheese in it.
Yeah, Saint George cheese. You can put a little.
There you go, and
With the
that's
butter,
good.
I can just do butter and this. But this is what I was saying. It's a A lean dough, it's a little bit harder. You see a lot lighter because there's no fat in it. Just covered in flour, so it'll give me a little bit more of a crunch. This is where you can put nice little treats. This is what we used to do when we were kids. My father would go to a place called Seaside Bakery in New Bedford.
Yep.
And he would bring over, because he was a butcher and the baker, you know, he'd bring it to the bakery, he would cut all the chorizo up, and then the baker would sit there and put them in pops. He'd bake the chorizo and the linguiça in pops, and then on Sunday morning, that was it from the bakery.
Yep.
And then we made little rolls, and the little rolls have a little egg wash on it. Let's cut this so I don't make too much of a mess, because
Look at that. See, guys?
and they're stuffed with chorizo. Like I said, sometimes I'll put cheese in it, depends on.
Ooh.
Sometimes I'll take once I'm done with all the meat, I chop it all up and put all that meat with cheese and put them in rolls.
It'd be like a surprise, like it's a little gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there you go. You never know what you're going to get.
I always say a gift of food is a gift of love.
There we go. I like that. So we have that.
Kathy, I'll let you cut
Oh
the
my
bread.
God, remember this bread now. We were making this with all the meat.
We always say the end piece has the smaller amounts of meat. When you get towards the middle, it's a little bit better, so we always want to make sure.
Oh, look at that, guys. Gals.
We won't go there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But again, this is very traditional to an area. Now, my grandparents that are Portuguese, one came from Montalegre, which is in the island, and the other was from San Miguel. So
Yeah.
they're just different ways of learning how to cook these things. And then my mother from Cuba is a whole different way. So I've taken their ideas and their styles and created my own.
And that's what they do when they come to America. You know, it all depends on what they have. But still in New Bedford, we have a great Portuguese community and some great Portuguese shops there.
And food.
So my grandparents came from St. Michael's and the Azores. So again, that's different. And if you think about Brazilian, which I am going to do a Brazilian show, and you're more than welcome to join me. So they speak Portuguese or a slang of Portuguese.
Correct.
So in a lot of the things, if you're looking at it, it's like, oh, the Portuguese people make it. It's because of
Yep.
that. So things, we have a lot of things that's similar to everybody, but everybody has their own way of doing it.
Their own touch of love for
So
it.
if you do this and you know, get your meat ready, get this done, this is a nice little breakfast. And
Or lunch or dinner.
or
a loaf and a coffee.
yes, a loaf and a coffee.
A loaf and a coffee.
So we're going to check on that just to see if the bread's done. And I guess.
And that would be, what we would love you to do is try that. Get back to Kathy, see what you've tried, make these things.
Oh, they're going to try it because that's to my crew. They're going to try this, and I'm going to know what they think right away,
There you go.
right here.
But all your viewers, we would like,
Go on my email. Let me know. Try this.
tell
and,
Kathy how it came out, any questions,
and
I will
email
always-
me.
And have fun with it. This is something that you should do with your family. Making bread is a family thing.
Yeah.
Where, it's something that you can do on. And that's what, you have the little ones. Kathy has the grandchildren around. They can see that. And that's how you do the tradition. I did it with my mother, who had to learn from other people. And then I pass it down to my students because they are my children.
Yes.
And so they will all tell you that. So they can continue. And my mother's been gone for a while, so this makes me think of her and my father, and so my tradition from them continues.
Absolutely, like my Portuguese stuff. And my granddaughter is 8, Lily, and for Thanksgiving and Christmas, she will make the stuffing with me. That is her absolute favorite thing to do, is getting that hands in there and really making the stuffing. So I like the thing that people are really getting their kids into the kitchen. That makes a big difference, because without this, yeah, we can go by books, but this is so much better.
And you got to learn
hands-on.
to make it, because someday it might not be there.
Absolutely. And I told them that my last show. If you have a special recipe, please write it down, because once you're gone, you're gone. And you leave the people behind, your relatives, and they're trying, well, what did she put in that? Or what did he put in that to make that like that? You make something, it's like, it's missing something. Well, if they don't write it down, you're not going to know what that missing element is. So just write your recipes down.
Gift
pass
of food.
it down.
Gift of food is a gift of love.
So I guess here's to everybody. Here's to Portugal and our Portuguese community.
It's
And
tradition, holidays.
Tradition, absolutely, or anytime.
Yep.
and we'll see you on our next episode of the Family Table.